What's going on, guys? So I have Casey Jones, number 3, and just kind of give us a little bit of a recap as to what's going on up to this point. So we have this mutant here. His name is Ludwig, and he is working on behalf of a guy named Mr. Marlin. And Marlin basically wants to do like the most dangerous game with mutants. Ludwig is a mutant who pretty much despises mutants, including himself, and he captures mutant, and in turn Marlin gives him like a serum that kind of helps suppress his more animalistic and makes him feel more human, even though his outward appearance will still be that of a mutant. And Casey is on the hunt for Annabelle, another like little mutant, looking for her father, who we know at this point has been captured by Ludwig and is being held in like an encampment there, waiting to be hunted. And we do see like 2 other mutants that got captured in issue 1. They're over there. They met with Annabelle's father. Casey, he's going around asking people if there's any knowledge. He goes to a bar to try and track down some information, and this leads him to like a gang leader who is missing his employees, who thinks Casey took them. And then once that gets all straightened out, they decide to team up and try to set up a trap to maybe find Ludwig or whoever's responsible for capturing all these mutants and getting some answers. Meanwhile, April, who's worried about Casey, contacts Raph. Raph comes over and intervenes in between this like little mission that they're setting up, where then Ludwig shows up, knocks out Raph and the other mutant that Casey was with before, cornering Casey at the end. And that is where we are going to get started here. So our writer is Alex Parkendale, and artist is Zarman K. And I'm not even going to attempt this last name. So I mean no disrespect. I'm butchering the name, so I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. So we are opening up with Gina. Now Gina is an older actress, and my camera's not going to pick it up too well, but she's got some wrinkles around the eyes. She puts on this glowing blue makeup, and the wrinkles disappear. So a lot of Hollywood actors and actresses of today would certainly be all about that, whether or not they actually would need it. But yeah, I definitely buy that an actress would be very interested in this. And we see Mr. Marlin. He is the one giving Gina this makeup, or whatever the hell they put on their face. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to call it makeup. But she thanks him and is very appreciative of it and wants to know, how much. And he's like, well, don't worry about it right now. The time to pay back will come. But hey, while we're at it, why don't you take this other, container of makeup? It's just more of the same stuff. And, kind of just wishes her well. Whether or not he's being genuine or not, I don't know, as far as that is concerned. But meanwhile, we catch up with Casey, and I can't remember his name, but it's not going to be too relevant here, so I didn't bother trying to go back and relearn it. But our little goat mutant guy, he goes up to the rooftop because there was no communication, and so he's like, what the hell's going on? Comes up, sees the 2 knocked out mutants, sees Ludwig at harpoon gun point for Casey there, and he's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Ludwig, he says, well, some good company you keep. Everybody's abandoned you, at least those who are conscious. And while he turns his focus to one of the passed out mutants here, he's kind of mocking Casey. He's like, you dwell with a bunch of flea-ridden mutants and rather than your own, what's up with that? And Casey takes this opportunity while he's distracted to go ahead and crack Ludwig on the back of the head. And you see it just shatters the bat. He fucking knocks the shit right out of him. Well, that doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. Ludwig recovers quick, kicks Casey right in the chest, breaks a rib or two. Casey then takes the remaining handle of the bat and stabs Ludwig in the side. He is then rewarded by Ludwig by getting his shoulder chomped on. And this is where Raph intervenes. He's regained his consciousness and tells Ludwig, he's like, trust me, you don't want to eat my friend. I know where he's been. And I just got to say, I kind of both like and dislike a little bit this image. The overall image is pretty good of Raph here. You get the lightning in the background on the rainy night sky. I really like that. My only real criticism is the teeth. It makes him look a little goofy, like he's got a severe overbite, kind of almost even like Mr. Burns like, and I just can't shake that image. This is the only time I really have any issues with their overall appearance of any character in here, and for the most part, I'm good with it. If we just fix the teeth just a touch, it'd be like perfect. But again, minor nitpick, no big deal here. We then catch up with Gina. She was getting prepared to go on a late night talk show, and this one is called After Hours with Warren Stone. And it's just the usual shit, it's been, you look great, everything's going good. One person calls out in the audience what's wrong with your face? Or what's up with your face? And I guess not necessarily what's wrong, because Gina is a much older actress, and she looks extremely youthful, and they're just kind of wanting to know. And the talk show host, he's just like, okay, he does bring up a good point. What's going on? What's your secret? How are you still so youthful looking? Because I guess her last appearance on the show was over 20 years ago. So, I mean, it really kind of dates her here. And she stumbles and fumbles, and it's like, can we move on to the next thing? She's really kind of nervous about it. And I had a little bit of issue with that. I'm like, clear. She had to have known that was a question going to be asked. How do you not automatically just have something ready? The simplest thing to say is, I don't know, good genes, I guess, just, and that way you can just move on. You're I'm just very fortunate. I'm very lucky, and I also feel like that kind of leaves her to be a little bit of humble to go with it. It's just oh, I must have good genes or something. I can't really explain it. And then you can just move on. And it doesn't make her seem like she's just so nervous about it on a question that she should be prepared for. But again, it is nitpicky because it really isn't going to be. I don't know. I think it's borderline nitpick just because we'll see later. But things are going to escalate a little bit over there. We come back to the rooftops, and Ludwig and Raph they're fighting it out. And Casey, he's wanting to help out his buddy, but he can barely stand. And Raph is trying to get him just to stand down. He's like, "This, you stay out of it. This has nothing to do with you at this point." And Raph, being distracted by looking at Casey, buys Ludwig a little bit of time. He reaches in a pouch and pulls out a smoke bomb. And again, Casey, he can't even stand. He didn't do anything. And the smoke bomb buys enough time for Ludwig to go ahead and sweep the leg and pull out the shattered bat and stab Raph in the shoulder. And there's Casey on the floor. He has no strength to him. He has no business trying to fight. And Raph's like, why are you doing this? You're just like one of us. And Ludwig's like, no, I'm not like you. I'm trying to be better than you. This serum helps me be better than you guys. It makes me prim and proper. It gives, heals me. It does everything for me. It helps me even talk better. And Casey takes this opportunity with Ludwig distracted once again to muster up enough strength to make a sacrifice play. He and Ludwig go right off the roof, go crashing down. We have some inner monologue. Basically, Casey's talking to his mom, who has passed away, and basically saying, I kind of screwed up right now, but I'll be seeing you at the pearly gates soon enough, as they crash into a van. We then cut over to Gina during her interview here, and they're moving on to her relationships and stuff like that. And uh, he's talking about how, in the past she's been with more age appropriate actors as to who she's dating and such, and then brings up this much younger actor who still appears to be an adult, so it's not really inappropriate, but he's like coming at her with like accusing her of doing something wrong. It's like, you play her his mom in the role, do you have anything to say for yourself? And I'm like, that's a little, one, not your fucking business, and two, it's like, as long as they're both adults, who gives a shit? You're kind of coming at it a little aggressive there, bud. And apparently she feels the same way. We could see something going on with her eyes here, and then she like smashes the shit out of his desk before they cut the airing there. And basically she was like, where do you get off asking these kind of questions, kind of thing. And yeah, I agree. He's prying in and, talking in a way that's pretty disrespectful. I didn't think that he was good there. She's clearly not in the right here either. That doesn't give you permission to use violence there. Now, you can tell him off. He certainly earned that one, but to go like that, nah. So her actions are definitely out of control here. Cut over to Casey and Ludwig. Casey's pretty much dying. Like, he's in and out of consciousness, and he knows that if he dies, or if he goes to sleep, he's gone. He snaps himself out of it long enough, catches the serum that's over there, remembers that Ludwig said that it heals him, so he's like, yeah, why not? He's like, might not be in my best intentions, but, on the other hand, what's the worst that could happen? And then he blacks out. Go over to Mr. Marlin's place, and we see they're catching the whole thing on the news about Gina's interview before cutting it off. And this is the rest of the investors who are working on the serum, the Nostrum serum. And they're not exactly pleased with how everything went out. And Marlin said, hey, we knew that the whole makeup application of it was kind of a Hail Mary. However, the serum itself is very, very stable. But the meeting gets cut short when he hears a crash, goes to investigate in his kitchen, and sees a very bloody Ludwig, in there, and he's begging for more serum because he's in a bad way in case he took his. Marlin, he's more concerned with like the tile flooring. He's telling Ludwig, like, what are you doing in here in my house? The tile is porous and it's going to absorb everything. You're going to stain up my kitchen. And even his wife comes in and is like, what is he doing here? Our home caretaker is going to think that we murdered somebody. Like, get him out of here. And Marlin tells him, he's like, I'll have the doc come see you and get you patched up over at your place. And he's still wanting the serum, and he's like, no, if you don't bring me mutants, I can't get you, the serum. So you just need to kind of change your perspective on things and just focus on getting them. And basically hands him a rag to clean up the floor. We then find Casey over here. He's asleep and not dead. He's having some nightmares, and normally this is the nightmare that he has about District Attorney Hale shooting him, but now, instead of Hale, it's Casey shooting him. And I do believe we have some foreshadowing going on here. Casey wakes up in a panic, and then we meet our veterinarian named Jane, and she's letting him know, hey, you're safe. You're in Mewtown, and everything's good. Your friend wanted to send you over to Bellevue, but you wouldn't have it. And, he's like, oh, my friend, Raph, how's he? Raph's okay. He's just got a little bit of a shoulder injury, but other than that, he's fine. And that's when Annabelle comes to visit. She rushes in the hug, but then she backs off and is like, oh, I'm sorry, did I hurt you? And Casey's like, actually, no. And given everything that happened to me. I should be dead right now, but instead I'm feeling pretty incredible. And that's when Jane asks about this, this jar. And, and I totally get that. As a doctor, you certainly want to know what your patients might have in their system, because any kind of medication that you're going to be giving your patient, depending on what is already in their system, could react differently. So she's like, hey, what the hell is this? And he's like, I don't know. Guy said it was going to heal him, so I figured, well, it could do the same for me. And apparently it worked. So he just kind of shrugs it off, no big deal. Annabelle pulls him in, says, hey, everybody wants to see you. And then we see everybody here. Now, I do believe that we're at Jenica's place. I do believe she lives in Mewtown. I haven't gotten to the point where she is a mutant and where I'm currently at in the story. She's still a human. But, Jenica's here along with the Hamato brothers and April. And April and Leo are both like, yeah, by the way, we're still pretty pissed at you. And he's like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I love you guys. All hunky-dory there. And then we catch up with Ludwig. He's getting all sewn up by the doctor. But while he's getting all stitched up, he lets out a little bit of a growl. The doc wants nothing more to do with this. He's like, nah, I'm not dealing with this, And I mean, look at them teeth. You piss this dude off too much, yeah, he's gonna chomp at you if he feels the need to. And Ludwig's like, I'm not an animal. I'm civil like them, as he looks out on Marlin and his buddies, who are getting ready to do a hunt. They're getting all loaded up. They got their horses ready, the dogs ready, and their prey, if you will, they're being sent out and being told, like, hey, this is your chance to escape. My advice, run for the trees as quick as you can and don't look back. And we see the chase is on, and if you remember, he got harpooned in the leg, so she has to kind of help him out. So they only really have 3 good legs between the two of them. And that is where our story ends. So yeah, I think, especially as you see the next cover over here, the serum definitely seems to have a nasty side effect. I'm assuming making aggression just skyrocket in individuals. I think we're going to see like Casey getting super frustrated with everybody and start lashing out in a way that's not great. Just like what we saw with Gina there. And I think that's the only relevance Gina really plays into our story. I think she's just letting us see how bad this serum stuff can be for individuals. Even though Marlin said that the straight up serum, like what Casey took, is much better than the makeup version of it, where she's absorbing it through her skin. So pretty solid. Nothing really too bad. I will say the thing I wanted to point out with I went too far ahead. With Gina, she's kind of getting nervous about the makeup question. I think the only reason I would kind of be borderline, maybe not so much of a nitpick and has more an effect, is just because we see her get more aggressive later. So it's just like she's uncomfortable, and that discomfort turns to anger pretty quick. But I don't know. I'm still more siding with that as a little bit more of a nitpick than it is anything else, because I think you still could get kind of pissed off about this situation on its own, because this looks to be more of a candid photo. Like somebody just kind of took a quick snapshot. This was supposed to be more private, and she's kind of pissed off that her privacy got invaded like that. So I think that overall, I would still just qualify that her nervousness and not having an answer right away as more of a nitpick than anything else. Because I think the rest of the story could still play out as is and still make plenty of sense. But overall, yeah, I like what we got here. I'm very much invested in it. I think that they're holding true to the character of Casey. He just wants to go out there and do the best he can. He can't always compete with like mutants like Ludwig. and things like that. Which I will say that there is a little bit of a continuity error between issues 2 and 3. We saw him in that wrestling match in the second issue, where he was taking on like a buffalo mutant who was like at least twice his size. He's like 300 pounds, maybe even 4. And Casey ends up winning. And I'm like, I don't know if I buy all that. But that was my biggest issue in that issue. Nothing really going on here. I find this all more believable. So I would definitely recommend this series as a whole if you wanted to kind of just do like a one-off series. I would still put it under the main run and Journeys. I'm still enjoying those two more, but I think that this is still pretty solid and worth checking out on its own. So I definitely recommend that 3 issues in. So, but that is all I have for today, guys. So until next time, take care and God bless.